This Aldi haul costed me $83, so I'm still under budget going into week 2, and I shouldn't need any.
I still have a lot of blueberries from 2 summers ago that I want to really focus on working through this month, and my husband bought me some beautiful baking dishes, so I am using my new pans and doing a blueberry cobbler as a fun dessert. I love having the taste of summer in the middle of winter. Is just so amazing. I do use arrowroot powder. When I use frozen fruit, it seems to just thicken way more than regular flour, and cornstarch I don't always have in the house, but I started to keep arrowroot powder and I really like it to thicken and make it more of like a pie type filling. And it's just a easy oatmeal based crumble, and then I baked it on 350 until it was nice and hot and bubbly, and oh my goodness, it was delicious. And another thing with the frozen fruit I want to get into is making some smoothies. There's so much nutrients that you can add to a smoothie, from flaxseed, chia seeds, beef liver, some vitamins or things that maybe the children won't take on their own. It's a lot of flavor you can also put into a smoothie. So I'm putting some bananas. My kids are kind of weird too. Sometimes they just eat frozen bananas, but I'm specifically have the smoothies in mind this week. And then I know I've made this a ton, but I had just enough leftover cereal in the pantry to make another batch of granola bars, and I've made it plenty of times, so I didn't go through it this whole time, but half that batch went into the freezer and then half went into the fridge for this week's snacks. And then I feel like I'm always making bread, but I kind of love doing it. I used to do it by hand. The mixer makes it so nice. With a family of 9, you need to make a lot. But I make bread probably twice a week, sometimes more depending on what other bread types I use. But I bought these new pans, and they make 3 regular size loaves into the longer, and they just seem to cut better. And then I wanted to make a batch of cranberry orange muffins. And this is another thing I make almost every winter, but it's been I haven't made a batch this season, but I do love to make cranberry orange muffins. This is a sourdough recipe that I got years ago, and I can share in the description. But since the cranberries were frozen, I just pulsed them into my blender. Not all of my children like a big bite of cranberry, but cranberry and orange go together like peanut butter and jelly. And then you'll also see in the background I made a batch of almond milk, which I'll use in smoothies and different baking. And then I do keep the pulp. Either I freeze dry it or I add it into the smoothies or oatmeal, baked oatmeal, things like that. And like I said, I will leave this recipe down in the description. I do end up going back and double batching it for my family. I know pizza is usually on Friday nights, but honestly, I swapped it out, and I have started to do it on Monday nights because it helps me clean out the fridge from the weekend to little different bits. So the cheese was actually bought technically in December from Azure, along with a big case of butter. I don't buy pizza sauce. I actually just use a can of tomato sauce, and I'll put salt, pepper, basil, marjoram, garlic, a drizzle of olive oil, some chives, and then parsley, and then I just mix it up. And because I always have a canned tomato on hand, so I just make my own. And then a trick I have done for a long time that makes the bottom of the crust not only not stick to the pan, but also gives it that crunchy restaurant type flavor, is I put some cornmeal down. And in transparency, I did have to roll this out over on the other counter and then put it back on the pan for you, but it's all nice and square now. And then I just drizzle tomato sauce and then add my toppings. And on this day, I added a little bit of leftover spinach, some pepperoncinis, some artichokes. I did ham. We got these ham steaks sliced, and it's another thing that when they cook, they're smoked, but when they're cooked, they just kind of are dry. So it was a little frozen, so I cooked it up, warmed it up on the stove, throwing in some black olives on half because not everyone likes them, and then some diced pepperoncinis that I always have on hand also. And then I'm topping it with some of that cheese that I just shredded. And I always, if I can, I always shred more than what I need, so it kind of saves my future self. And then I pop this large sheet pan into the oven at 425, and it takes about 15 or 20 minutes. And then I slide it off onto my cutting board, cut it up for all of us, and have an easy meal.
Okay, we're going into week 2 with a low spend, and I just got home from Aldi, so I thought I'd give you, the perfect goal is $75, but I'm giving myself $100. Last week I spent $74. This Aldi haul costed me $83, so I'm still under budget going into week 2, and I shouldn't need anything else, I don't believe. They did not have all the vegetables I wanted, but we're gonna go with it and we're gonna make do. So first thing is 1 package of LaCroix. My husband and I like that, so I went ahead and got it. 2 bags of chips because we are going to have a Mexican night. I bought the organic cage-free because they were out of the pasture raised, and I know that we needed eggs. I mean, good eggs really are a big difference. And if you don't know, we live within the city limits, so we don't have access to growing some of our own food. I still struggle with the garden, and last year I actually didn't plant a garden. We thought we were moving, we were in the process, lots of problems. I got herbs last year, so I'm buying everything that we need. But I still think it's important to do a low spend month so I can reconnect with our finances. I'm not eating out of the pantry in the sense of we canned a bunch and we're eating out of that. I'm just doing a low spend to put money aside for our bulk meat purchase and to kind of get 1 month ahead again, because the holidays always kind of, you spend more than what you think. So that's what I'm doing for my goal for the low spend. I got a couple bunches of bananas. My kids are in a banana eating phase. This goat cheese, my kids like goat cheese. This one I found is gingerbread goat cheese, so I got that for them. Couple things of cucumbers. We're gonna do some homemade gyros, however you say it, and then snacking. I bought 2 things of oranges because they were on sale, so I got them. It's a great winter fruit to eat. 2 things of olive oil. I use this olive oil for cooking. I use the Oliveda olive oil when I'm drizzling or making a salad dressing. I'm not stocked up enough to start buying the more expensive, really good quality ones, so this is where I'm at right now. I bought 2 different juices because they were out of the juice I normally buy. This juice is to take my vitamins in, my morning wellness shot, and also to do water kefir, pineapple juice. This one's not from concentrate. This one is the one I normally buy, isn't. I bought some lettuce for some sandwiches on homemade bread or for salads. I bought ham and turkey, not always the purchase. I usually buy bulk meat at Costco, and then we just bought a meat slicer and I slice it up. But I'm not going to Costco because I will spend more money. So I went ahead and got turkey and ham from Aldi. This cracker set, like it, not the best ingredients, honestly, with the different oils and things. But the kids like that on goat cheese or just snacking or eating with soup. And honestly, this is cheaper than buying chips. So I went with this. Kids requested avocado toast, so with the eggs, with homemade bread, and that will be a inexpensive breakfast. And then I picked up potatoes. Never bought potatoes from Aldi before, so I bought one bunch because I knew we were low. And then that was my $83 worth of Aldi haul for this second week, going into the second week in January. I like to go before the weekend rush because then I'm not fighting with all the people that do shop on the weekends. So it's a late week, but it'll go through the next week in January. So I am under budget for the month, and I am happy with that. And then also in this video, I will share some of the meals I'm cooking out of my pantry, out of my kitchen, from scratch kitchen.
And on this day, I'm kind of just fiddling around the kitchen. The baby has 4 teeth coming in. Out of 7 children, this has never happened before. And the white noise of me, the grinder, and me moving around the kitchen is helping him take his afternoon nap. So that is what I'm doing. And I just pre-grind a lot of spelt flour, and then I keep it in the fridge as I need it. And I usually use it within a week, just because it does go bad because it has the whole kernel is there. So I'm making another batch of bread, and I can put my sandwich bread recipe down in the description below. For my regular sandwich bread recipe, it is 2 cups of warmish hot water, 1.5 cups of milk, 3 teaspoons of yeast, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and then once that blooms, I'll add 2 teaspoons of salt and about 9 cups of flour. And then I actually just mix it up until it's mixed up, and then I take out the handle mixer part, and then I actually let it rise, and once it gets up to the top of the mixing bowl, I know that it's ready to roll out, and then let it rise again before it's baked at 350 for 30 minutes. And then here we are, another day. I'm using that fresh ground wheat and making a batch of buns. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm going to have a non-toxic home video up soon, and another week of meals cooking from scratch out of the kitchen.